Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my presentation called Artificial Intelligence in Education, Panacea or Pandora's Box. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Nara Avtandilyan, and I'm an English lecturer at Community College of Qatar. All my presentations, as usual, are devoted to my beloved father, who is in my thoughts and prayers. While we may not see humanoid robots acting as teachers within the next decade, there are many projects already in the works that use artificial intelligence, AI for short, in education. This presentation discusses what AI is, its goals, how it is built, and how it works not from the perspective of a science-oriented journalist, but from the viewpoint of a teacher with over 20 years experience. After all, only by securing a certain degree of understanding can we move beyond the science fiction imagery of AI and make sound value judgments and choices on the role of AI in education. Discussion is limited to one of the main applications of AI in education, intelligent tutoring systems, ITS for short. The second aim of this presentation is to set up an argument, to set out the argument against AI as a powerful tool in education. An important concern regarding the application of AI is about ethics and moral values. The rise of technology within the education sector over the last few decades has been astounding. Within today's classroom, for example, we find ourselves surrounded by devices such as smart boards, AV, computers, laptops, tablets, phones, to name but a few technologies which are now being integrated into teaching. In some laboratories around the world, scientists are developing highly programmed machines that are guided by artificial intelligence software. Many educators are wondering what effects AI will have on the education field. AI is currently progressing at an accelerated pace, and this already impacts on the profound nature of services within the higher education. However, what is yet to be answered is how AI will be able to replicate the empathy and creative thinking that are key parts of teachers' moral judgments and their role within the classroom, or how the replacement of teachers altogether by AI will be pedagogically advantageous to learning. Moral imagination, according to philosopher Mark Johnson, means envisioning the full range of possibilities in a particular situation in order to solve an ethical challenge. Johnson emphasizes that moral action requires empathy and the awareness to discern what is morally relevant in a given situation. But is it possible for a robot to have moral imagination, or can they be moral at all? Before the development of AI for educational use goes too far, these are vital questions that need to be asked, and ones which may ensure the implementation of AI within education will be truly advantageous for students of the future. But what is artificial intelligence? AI is intelligence demonstrated by machines, in contrast to the natural intelligence displayed by humans. The term artificial intelligence is often used to describe machines, computers that mimic cognitive functions that humans associate with the human mind, such as learning and problem solving. According to Larkin and others, AI involves computer software that has been programmed to interact with the world in ways normally requiring human intelligence. This means that AI depends both on knowledge about the world and algorithms to intelligently process that knowledge. This knowledge about the world is represented in so-called models. There are three key models at the heart of artificial intelligence: domain model, the subject being learned; student model, the learner; and tutor model, effective approaches to teaching. AI algorithms implemented in the system's computer code, process that knowledge to select the most appropriate content to be delivered to the learners according to their individual capabilities and needs. Seldom a day goes by without at least a mention in the news or entertainment media of AI. But of particular interest here, artificial intelligence has also quietly entered the classroom. Whether students, teachers, parents, and policymakers welcome it or not, so-called intelligent, adaptive, or personalized learning systems are increasingly being deployed in schools and universities around the world, gathering and analyzing huge amounts of student big data and significantly impacting the lives of students and educators. However, while many assume that artificial intelligence in education, AIED for short, means students being taught by a robot teachers, the reality is more prosaic, yet still has the potential to be transformative. Artificial intelligence in education includes everything from AI-driven, step-by-step personalized instructional and dialogue systems through AI-supported exploratory learning, the analysis of student writing, intelligent agents in game-based environments, and student support chatbots, to AI-facilitated student tutor matching that puts students firmly in control of their own learning. It also includes students interacting one-to-one with computers, whole school approaches, students using mobile phones and outside the classroom, and much more besides. So let's see, what approach does AI use to teach? Artificial intelligence uses one-to-one teaching methods. Some researchers argue that human one-to-one tutoring has been shown to be a very effective form of instruction since at least Aristotle's tutoring of Alexander the Great. According to them, one-on-one tutoring allows learning to be highly individualized and consistently yields better results than other methods of teaching. Educational psychologist Benjamin Bloom found that on average, a student taught one-to-one using mastery learning methods performed above 98% better than a student taught in a conventional class setting. The research was initially published in 1984 and is called 2 Sigma because the one-to-one tutoring students did 2 standard deviation, therefore 98% better than the conventionally taught students. In statistics, the Greek letter sigma is used to represent standard deviation. However, Bloom and his researchers understood that it is too expensive to provide a private tutor to every student. Therefore, they defined 2 sigma as a problem and started looking for solutions to the questions. Are there ways of one-to-many teaching that are almost as effective as one-to-one teaching? Bloom's 2 Sigma problem has remained an unsolved problem in education for over 30 years. However, AI advocates claim that technology has helped to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of one-to-one and one-to-many teaching settings. The first application of AI to education has been to build intelligent tutoring systems, ITS. An ITS is a computer system that aims to provide immediate and customized instruction or feedback to learners, usually without intervention from a human teacher. ITS attempt to capture a method of teaching and learning exemplified by a one-to-one human tutoring interaction. For researchers in AI, this method of teaching was a natural one to target, as drill and practice versions of one-to-one tutoring are relatively well understood and widely accepted ways of communicating knowledge. There are many examples of ITS being used in both formal education and professional settings in which they have demonstrated their capabilities and limitations. One interesting sub-area of ITS research is dialogue-based tutoring system called Autotutor. It is a computer tutor that holds conversations with students in natural language. It stimulates the discourse patterns of human tutors and a number of ideal tutoring strategies. Autotutor presents a series of challenging problems or questions from a curriculum script and engages in collaborative, mixed initiative dialogue while constructing answers. It speaks the content of its turns through an animated conversational agent with speech engine, as you can see in your desktop. It is designed to be a good conversational partner that comprehends, speaks, points, and displays emotions, all in a coordinated fashion. For some topics, there are graphical displays, animations of casual mechanism, or interactive simulation environments. Recent versions of the Autotutor system also adapts to the learner's emotional states in addition to their cognitive states. It dynamically selects the words and statements in each conversational turn in a fashion that is sensitive to what the learner knows. Over a dozen systems have evolved from the original development of Autotutor. Among these is Adult Literacy Tutor, CSAL. CSAL is an interactive online program that allows students to practice reading comprehension. The curriculum has 35 lessons with trialogues that cover specific comprehension and critical thinking strategies. As part of the hybrid lesson, CSAL Autotutor allows students to work at their own pace, repeat material, and learn additional skills, such as getting accustomed to the keyboard. The system also captures data on students' use, thus allowing for customized feedback on progress for a student and a teacher. CSAL includes videos to help students develop computer literacy and reading skills. It also uses examples from real-world experiences to help students develop reading comprehension. In case you want to explore this tutoring system more, at the end of the presentation, I can post the link in our chat box if you like, and you can practice and see how it works. So the second aim of this presentation is to set out the argument against AI as a powerful tool in education. Some in scientific community worry that AI is a Pandora's box with dangerous consequences. The computer scientist Vernon Winch popularized the notion of the singularity. The point at which an AI-powered computer or robot becomes capable of redesigning and improving itself or designing AI more advanced than itself. This will lead to AI that far exceeds human intelligence, understanding, and control, and to what Winch describes as the end of the human era. Such machines could defy human control and, lacking morality, could use their superior intellects to extinguish humanity. According to Hawking, the real risk with AI is not malice, but competence. A super intelligent AI will be extremely good at accomplishing its goals. And if those goals aren't aligned with ours, we are in trouble. An important concern regarding the application of artificial intelligence is about ethics and moral values. Firstly, humans currently dominate other species because the human brain has some distinctive capabilities that the brain of animals lack. And we are the lone moral agents on planet Earth. We call ourselves Homo sapiens, men the wise, because our intelligence is so important to us. Due to the reduced need to use their intelligence, lateral thinking and multitasking abilities of humans may diminish. With so much assistance from machines, if humans do not need to use their thinking abilities, these abilities will gradually decline. With the heavy application of artificial intelligence, humans may become overly dependent on machines, losing their mental capacities. Secondly, is it ethically correct to create replicas of human beings? Do our moral values allow us to recreate intelligence? Intelligence is a gift of nature. It may not be right to install it into a machine and make it work for our benefit. Last but not the least, ideally, robots with human level intelligence will need human level morality as a check against bad behavior. Philosophical discussions among scientists concerning robots have been largely preoccupied with questions such as, can robots think, know, feel, or learn? Can they be conscious, teleological, and self-adaptive? Can robots be in principle psychologically and intellectually isomorphic to man? Considerably less attention has been paid meanwhile to the question whether robots can be moral. Nowadays, a growing number of experts from an array of academic fields contend that robots of any significant intelligence should have the ability to tell the right from wrong, a safeguard to ensure that they help rather than harm humanity. As machines get smarter and smarter, it becomes more important that their goals, what they are trying to achieve with their decisions, are closely aligned with human values, said Stuart Russell, a leading AI scientist. He believed that the survival of our species may depend on instilling values in AI. Other scientists argued that as robots take on more and more responsibilities, they must be programmed with moral decision-making abilities for our own safety. So can robots be moral? Early thought on machine ethics arose out of the realm of science fiction, most famously in the work of Isaac Asimov, whose later 4 laws of robotics were developed for narrative analysis of various situations of human-machine interaction in which the robot needed to function as an ethical agent. These laws not only served as narrative devices, they stimulated the initial thought in the field of how to build machines that consistently functioned ethically. A fifth law was introduced by Nikola Kesarovsky in his short story, The Fifth Law of Robotics. I will give you a couple of minutes to go through the laws on your own. I hope you managed to read all of them, to skim all of them. So while Asimov's laws have been incredibly influential in public thought on robotic ethics, they have been less useful in actual engineering problems, both for the difficulty of implementing them in practice, say with the level of knowledge required as to the infinite possibilities for harming a human being, and for their internal conflicts when different humans give a robot contrasting commands at the same time. Nowadays, artificial morality, which is a modern day research program for the construction of moral machines, say they can build morality into robots. Essential to building a morally praiseworthy robot is the task of giving it enough intelligence to assess the effects of its actions on sentient beings and to use those assessments to make appropriate choices. The most direct method is to program explicit rules for behavior into the robot software. This is called top-down approaches that involve turning explicit theories of moral behavior into algorithms. What is important is that the machine is given hard-coded guidelines upon which to make its decision-making. Abstractly considered, top-down morality is all about having a set of rules to follow. This is the commandment model of morality, also called Asimov's laws of robotics. Bottom-up approaches involve attempts to train or evolve robots whose behavior emulates morally praiseworthy human behavior. Some researchers believe that if morality is primarily learned, built up through experience, trial and error, and honed, through our capacity for reason, then teaching a machine to be a moral robot may well require a similar process of education. These machines are programmed to respond to and adjust their behavior in accordance with suitable expression of human approval and disapproval to correct behavior in the future. So, however, programming robots to be moral confronts researchers with a dilemma. With any increase in sophistication, robots have to be given increasing independence of human supervision and control. But with increased independence and self-control on the part of robots, the danger of creating Frankensteinian monsters also increases. The operation of robots with high order programming will not only become less and less predictable, but also more and more dangerous. For prudential robots, formally isomorphic to man, but materially different in construction and specific built-in goals, will naturally seek their own goals rather than ours. And the more isomorphic there are to men, the more they will believe in self-seeking rather than subservient manner. At the same time, there is no agreed upon universal set of human morals. Morality is culturally specific, continually evolving, and eternally debated. If robots are to live by an ethical code, where will it come from? What will it consist of? Who decides? So to anyone who is concerned with the future of education in a digital world, Stephen Hawking has warned that technology needs to be controlled in order to prevent it from destroying the human race. The world-renowned physicist who has spoken out about the dangers of artificial intelligence in the past believed we need to establish a way of identifying threats quickly before they have a chance to escalate. In the same article, Tesla CEO Elon Musk shared a similar viewpoint, having recently warned that humans are in danger of becoming irrelevant. He thinks over time, people will probably see a closer merge of biological intelligence and digital intelligence, suggesting that people could merge with machines in the future in order to keep up. We educators can either leave it to others, such as the computer scientists, AI engineers, and big tech companies, to decide how artificial intelligence in education unfolds, or we educators can engage in productive dialogue. While technology can play an important role in supporting and enhancing learning, the effectiveness of any technological tool depends on the knowledge and expertise of the qualified language teacher who manages and facilitates the language learning environment. Many educators acknowledge the potential of technology as a tool to support and enhance classroom-based language instruction. However, because language is one of the most complex of all human activities and interactions, educators also recognize the pivotal role of a qualified language teacher to incorporate and manage the implementation of technology so that it effectively supports the language learning experience. The use of technology should never be the goal in and of itself, but rather one tool for helping language learners to use the target language in culturally appropriate ways to accomplish authentic tasks. Further, all language learning opportunities, whether provided through technology or in a traditional classroom setting, should be standard-based and help develop students' proficiency in the target language through interactive, meaningful, and cognitively engaging learning experiences facilitated by a qualified language teacher. Therefore, it is strongly advisable to place the responsibility for language instruction in the hands of qualified language teachers rather than solely in technology programs. I'd like to bring this presentation to a close with the following saying. Never let your sense of morals get in the way of doing what's right. Isaac Asimov. Thank you for your attention and for attending my session. Melanie, over to you.